and ghouls, so it's been a super long time since I've done a cross stitch video or a cross stitch like piece at all, full stop. If you didn't see my video I posted, must have been about a month ago now, I've had some vitamin D issues, which means my hands have been really painful to use. Well, I've been taking lots of boosters and I've been spending a bit more time in the sun now that it's actually sunny, and yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, so I thought I'd have a go at doing just a simple quick cross stitch just to see how it would go, if my hands are still playing up. So I started this last night. Now I have bought a couple of patterns which are in the post, but because of the current situation, obviously it's taking a lot longer to get here. So I thought, I have so much fabric, I honestly, that whole basically cupboard at the top is just cross stitch stuff. I thought I'd use this blue fabric here, and I could make maybe an axolotl piece. I was kind of inspired by this really cool booklet that I got for my birthday. Booklet, what am I talking about? Notebook that I got for my birthday. So I wanted to do an axolotl piece. I did have a look on Etsy for a downloadable pattern, but there was just nothing really that caught my eye. So I was having a look through just Google Images, and I found this cross stitch that someone had done. Now I did really want to buy the pattern off of them, but they just didn't really have any information about who did it. There was no watermark. When I clicked on it, it just took me to this like really random, I think it was like a Reddit post or something where someone had just posted this. So I thought I'd use this as somewhat of a guideline. I'm obviously changing it a little bit. For some reason mine looks terrifying, but I thought I'd have a go at doing something like this. Full credit to whoever made this. This is not my design at all. I really wish I could find a name or even like purchase their pattern off of them, but I have a feeling they just freehanded it. So I'm just using this as a bit of a base, a bit of an idea, a little bit of guidance. But as you can see, I tried to mark off like where the squares were, but the crosses just didn't really line up with that. And yeah, they've done a lot of like stitching over top as well. It's quite hard to actually see exactly what they've done here, so I've kind of tried to sort stuff out myself. But yeah, I thought I'd just keep you updated on the process. But this is how far I got last night, and I'm just going to carry on a little bit this morning as well. Okay, so I've done the main body of the axolotl. I'm definitely out of practice. The back of it is absolutely horrendous. You can see that it's all just like knotted up. It's so bad. So it took a lot longer than it needed to, and obviously it's not as neat as it could be. I'm gonna have a go now at stitching the arms in, but like I'm not sure how well that's gonna go, just because, as I said, it's just like complete matte at the back, and I had to unpick like 2 lines here, and yeah, it is not the best work I've ever done. But as I said, I'm just getting into it, and also this is like really it's quite hard fabric to work with, so I'm not mad. Dragon's a bit mad, but I'm not mad. It literally took me half an hour to do just those 4 little legs. They look a bit uneven, which is odd because they're in exactly the same place, but it could be just because of like the material, but I'm just gonna leave it there. It took so long because that's so matted, and I had to really like literally push the needle through, which is obviously not how it should be going. So I'm gonna leave him there. I'm happy just with how he looks like that. I did try and put like a little black line up his tail, but it just looked a bit odd. So I'm going to leave that like that, and then I'm going to do the have a go at starting doing the writing now. Okay, so I've done the first 2 lines. I've changed it slightly to say I'm an axolotl, I'm super cute. Is that helpful? Just because I thought it sounded slightly better. So I've done these ones slightly differently centered, if that makes sense. I wanted that one to start first, end first, if that makes sense. And then now I'm going to put the next 2, I think, in like half, like symmetrical, like straight down the middle. Just just because the other two sort of start and end at the same sort of place. So I'm going to keep going. The writing is definitely quicker and a lot easier than the little axolotl was. What are you doing? Just because the other two sort of start and end at the same sort of place. I've just been down to have lunch and to sort out my stick insects and my tab holes. It's so hot. It's like 40,000 degrees outside. Was not expecting that because I've been like nice and cool and relaxed in my room. But this is how far I got before I went to go eat. Just done one more line and I've started in the middle. It's going to say and smiling snoot. So I'm going to carry on with my writing. So I'm just going to go out for a little walk just to stretch, because sitting kind of hunched over doing this does make my back hurt a bit. So I have 2 more lines of writing to go. So you can see the things I've changed. So as I said, I've added the I'm. I've changed I want them to kind of be a bit swishy swashy, so it looks like it's through the water. And I changed, it's meant to say supper time, but I wrote dinner time at dinner time rather than supper time because I call it dinner. I don't really call it supper. Like, supper is to me a food you have after dinner. So anyway, I changed it to dinner time. So yeah, I've just got to write and beg you for, well, I've done the 4, another wormy. So I'm gonna go for a walk now and then carry on. I'm pretty pleased it's quite quick to do on here, and actually I think like using this type of fabric looks slightly nicer than like having the really solid large dots that Ada has. So yeah, although I wish my axolotl had come out a little bit cuter. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with it, and as I said, I'm going to do the worms in red, I think, but I'm going to go for a walk now before I break my spine. Okay, little update. It's now oh, phone's on charge, forgot that. It's now night time. I finished off all the writing, which I finished just before dinner, and then I've just had a bath. So I'm now going to attempt to do some worms, relatively similar to this, but I'm going to see if I can do them as a solid colour. I'm just going to experiment, but I've got this deep red to do it with. So I finished the cross stitch last night. I was up until, it literally ended up being 2 minutes to midnight. But I finished this off. I was going to put like another border around, but I think this one just works really nicely. So as I said, I was working from this printout, which I found on Pinterest. Now actually, I did track down at least a maker's name. So one second, if I just put axolotl cross stitch. See, it's this little picture here. So it just came up like that, and I just printed it. But I mean, it's not on when I printed it, but right at the bottom it says by a moment. I did have a search, but I just searched for that name, but nothing came up. So all credit to that person for their picture. As I said, I went on here and I couldn't find anywhere to actually buy it, but they've done like a fish one as well. But like all the posts and stuff don't seem to lead to anything. Use that as a very rough indicator for how my axolotl looks, although mine still looks slightly more creepy than theirs. And I did a similar poem. I changed a few little bits and bobs, but pretty much following the same idea. And I liked the fact they did worms around the outside. Some people feed like glob worms, like earthworms to their axolotls, but mine just doesn't eat them. Mine eats bloodworms. So I buy these really fat red bloodworms. I buy them live, so they still got lots of like good nutritional value. So I decided just to do bloodworms and have like a random pattern rather than it be symmetrical. When I started up here, I was going to make it like symmetrical either way, but I thought, you know what, like all the worms look a bit different, so I just went for a bloodworm kind of pattern, and obviously like blue, and then I literally got into bed, got back up and added in these bubbles because I was just like, oh, I think it would look cute with bubbles. So as you can see, side by side of the difference. So that was a really good kind of introduction back for me into cross stitch. As I said, I stopped doing cross stitch probably about a year ago now because I had vitamin D problems and my hands would literally just, they'd hurt so much as soon as I picked up a needle. They definitely did hurt when I was doing this part, but as I said, like that got really knotted because I'm so out of experience. So other than that part, my hands felt fine for like the complete rest of this. So I went ahead, I bought a couple of kits online just because they didn't sell the pattern separately, so I had to buy it as a kit. So they're on their way. So now that I've finished this one and it was okay, I'm going to frame this and put it in my classroom. But I've just gone on Etsy and purchased the pattern for this one because I thought it was quite cute. Again, it could go in my classroom because I thought that looked a little bit like Trevor, and obviously I've got snails and stuff, but I thought that was quite cool. I got that off of Etsy. It was by a certain Etsy seller, but the pattern itself was by someone different. So she obviously has all these PDFs and stuff, and she's just selling them on. It was only £3, and it was just one of those instant download things which came with like a picture of it and then the pattern for it. So yeah, that is going to be my next adventure. If you want to see me making this one, I can definitely do a similar video. I haven't done any kind of like FlossTube cross-stitching videos for a really long time, but since I now have done my little dummy run and I know I can somewhat keep up with it, although I know a lot of this was text and I absolutely love doing text. Yeah, I'm also going to learn how to do a French knot, so that is exciting for me. So thank you very much for watching. If you do have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If it's sunny where you are, I hope you're enjoying the shade, unless you have a vitamin D deficiency, and I will see you next time. Bye!